Ashley Westwood, for all the talk that, post-2002, you are seeing teams win World Cups, what we are seeing from Cristiano Ronaldo is perhaps drawing comparisons with what the great Diego Maradona did in 1986. He's single-handedly dragging his team over the line.
He is, obviously, and that's, for me, just solely with goals. He looks at his performance tonight. It's hard to criticise. He's not mesmerised. He's not gone past anyone really. He scored a corner. He scored a header from a corner, which he's very good at, mind. You'd have to question the defending, but he has a knack of reading it early. Working out where the ball's going to go. His awareness, anticipation, and obviously his finishing ability is fantastic. But it should have been stopped. He scored a left-footed goal in the first game that shouldn't have gone in with De Gea, really. Obviously, he done well to create the penalty, but he scored a penalty, and then he scored a free kick. So it's been ultra critical because he scored 4 goals and it looks unstoppable, but I still think people are getting a little bit carried away because his performances haven't been mesmerising, but obviously 4 goals in 2 games is a great return.
Yes, and 4 goals in 2 games means that he is right up there in the race for the Golden Boot, and at this stage of the tournament you think Portugal will go through at least 2 more games. You won't think twice before putting some money on him.
No, if they're to progress, they don't score loads of goals, although they did score 3. If you look at history, back to when they won the Euros, they won the Euros by being a defensive side. And I think they showed that again today. They kept, I think, 4 clean sheets out of 7 games at the Euros. They drew a couple of games 1-1. There was only 1 game where they drew 3-3 against Hungary. So they are a defensive side, knowing that they've got the talent of Ronaldo to hit teams on the break or score a goal out of nothing.
And to be fair to Morocco, the scoreline isn't something which is an indicator of how well they played. It's 2 matches in a row now. They've actually played well, but they haven't got the result. This is not a good comeback to the World Cup stage, but perhaps inexperience at this level is costing them.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really got an out-and-out striker that's any good, if we're being honest. They've out-possessioned both sides have played now. I think Iran, they had 68% possession, which I think is a record for a team to be on a losing end in a World Cup with that much possession. And again today you see him take the game to Portugal. They play a nice fluent system. The coach has obviously gone there with an attacking mindset. He wants to give them freedom, and he's playing to their strengths. And on another occasion out of them 2 games, they would have scored 1 or 2 goals. It was just the strikers that let them down.
Yes, because I was reading a lot about them when they qualified. A couple of friends in Morocco were actually sending me nice videos of the celebrations there. And when they came to this World Cup, people were saying perhaps they are the best African team of the lot who have qualified. And the coach today, after the game, said, yes, we're going out, but we have showed the world that we can play football. That's telling comment.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think it's their style. Like I say, they've done everything but score. They've got some decent players. Ziyech on the left-hand side has played well. Amrabat also caused trouble all day long on the right-hand side. It was just, like I say, the number 9, we call them, and the number 10, the way they set up, haven't produced. Apart from that, they've had a lot of control. They play a 3-man midfield, loads of interchanging, loads of movement. The wide players of the 3 drop into holes as well, and they looked the most exciting side. I know when they played against Iran, I was really excited about these, and I'm a little bit sorry and upset for them that they're going out, because I thought they could do a lot more.
Yes, I was actually going through some match stats, and we saw that on our screen as well. They had the best chances. They had what? They had the best chances, they had more possession, more shots both on and off target. What they lacked was the ability to take their chances, as you were talking about that, the lack of an obvious goal threat. But in all the matches they've played, they've done that. And that just shows that perhaps if with the right kind of backing, this team can go on and become a force.
Yeah, they have, but again, they need to find a centre forward, and obviously you've seen that the best they've got so far. You can't really think of many Moroccan centre forwards leading the lines in top leagues, and that's what we're talking here. We're talking World Cups, we're talking World Champions, we're talking best teams in the world, and they just can't quite find that attacking prowess to put the ball in the back of net. It's a knack, they get paid the most in the world, strikers, and it's because they score goals, as simple as that.
As Ronaldo is showing. But just break this down tactically for us, because I was intrigued in a sense, and I wanted to pick your brains on this, because Portugal, for all their stars and for all the big money players they had, they were not being able to impose themselves, and you saw wave after wave of Morocco attacks, especially towards the second half. What did they do so well, and how did they completely make a mockery of this Portugal midfield?
We know they play 4-4-2. Morocco are more of a 4-3-3, but when we start looking at that into the attacking wise, this is why they do so well. They get the fullbacks nice, high and wide, to add a little bit of a dimension into midfield. The number 8, I think it is, he comes and gets the ball all day long off the back 4, so that's a problem straight away because they seem to miss out this line of defence. So all of a sudden, you know, the ball will come into him, and they've already broke the first line of defence, which is Portugal. Then they start to get an overload in the midfield. They have two real attacking-minded central midfields. The number 14 is one of them. He done well all day long. And then it's the movements of the wide plays. Ziyech plays on the left-hand side. Obviously, Amrabat also on the right-hand side. But then they find loads of pockets of space into this position. And even when they drop into the kind of this position, the two centre midfielders will start interchanging and then operating these. So all of a sudden, again, the right-hand side, he comes down into these positions. So they start to get loads of numbers in the middle of the park. You know, you're looking at 5 people here. In total that can do damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all these will outnumber the two central midfielders of Portugal. And then if Portugal try to counteract that and they try and get narrow to maybe into this kind of position, then all of a sudden the fullbacks will be on in these kind of positions. So they do get a lot of ball, they do get a lot of attacking prowess, and it's the way they move the ball and all interchange. And then they're decent players, they're technically very good. So there's always an option for them, and they found it, I thought, quite easy to go from defence to midfield to attack. Quite fluid, we call it playing through the thirds, and they were a decent footballing side. Decent
footballing side, had plenty of chances, and what was striking was that when they had set pieces, it was mostly them who were winning the ball, and you don't see that very often as well. They almost won everything when a ball was flighted in. Perhaps it's a telling comment on the state of the Portuguese defence.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be alarming because obviously Pepe and Fonte, they're in there because they're 6'2", 6'3" central defenders, and they're supposed to be commanding. I recall at 2 or 3 occasions it was Cristiano Ronaldo actually that was heading the ball out from set pieces. But like you said, you know, the Moroccans, they got on the end of things more often than not. Probably their best chances came in the air actually from crosses or set pieces, and they should have done a little bit better and maybe converted 1 or 2.
Okay, let's talk about that one man, Cristiano Ronaldo, because I was reading a comment from his coach, Fernando Santos. He says, Ronaldo is like port wine. These are his actual post-match comments. He said he knows how to refine his capacity and age at his best. He's constantly evolving, contradictory to the other players. He knows himself and what he can do. What he's also doing now is, you know, not just getting the goals in this World Cup, his record, he's extending his record. He's gone past the great Ferenc Puskás now.
Yeah, I mean, he's intelligent. He works it out. He knows how to get the finer margins, you know, whether it's his diet, whether it's extra work, whether it's weights, explosive work, whatever you want. I did hear a story, I think the other day, it was Rio Ferdinand. I think he said there was a tennis table at Manchester United, and he played Cristiano Ronaldo. He beat him and he embarrassed him, and he said 3 weeks later Cristiano bought a tennis table, gone home, practised every day, and then come back and destroyed Rio Ferdinand on the table tennis table. And that's the kind of, you know, the man he is. He doesn't like to lose at anything, and if he does lose at something, he'll practice and he'll get it right.
Okay, final question quickly. When the coach looks at this, when the coach looks at how his midfield was overrun, when he looks at all the stats against him, when he looks at the fact that in 2 games, they've actually had 28 shots against him in the game against Spain and this one, how does he fix it?
I don't think he can, because like I mentioned before, that the records and the way they played at the Euros, that's their style. You know, they haven't got too many other bright sparks that can control the game. The 4-4-2, they are deceptible and they are capable of getting overrun in the middle of the park, outnumbered, but they like to soak up pressure and hit teams with Ronaldo's brilliance on the break. So I don't think you'll see him change. They scrapped and kind of bored their way to the Euro finals, if I'm being honest, when they won the Euros, and they look like they're going to try and do it again.
Okay, but can they do it again, and this time at a World Cup?